Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Missing man found in shallow grave. Calls for radical shift in how Jamaicans view their role in democracy. And later in sports, Wayne Pinnock makes clarification on London Diamond League interview. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kerry-Ann Simpson. Here are the details. Up first this afternoon, the body believed to be that of a 43-year-old man who has been missing for weeks has been discovered in a shallow grave in Tedford Park, St. Catherine. The Old Harbour businessman was reported missing on Friday, July 11. The police made the breakthrough in the case when his body was found, his BMW motor car was found in Ocherius yesterday. The police have held 2 men for questioning. Now we'll have more on this developing story in subsequent newscasts. Election Day observers needed. The call this afternoon from the Citizens Action for Free and Fair Elections Cafe in preparation for the upcoming general elections. Jamaica Maitland explains.
1,000 people are being sought by the Citizens Action for Free and Fair Elections Cafe to work as volunteers for the election. Grace Baston is Cafe's chairman.
For the local government election, we had just under 500. We're aiming for 1,000. We think there are about 22 constituencies that could swing. You know, everybody tells us it will be close. That's the opinion out there. So we want to make sure we're where it will matter. Yeah. And we will need that many volunteers.
Citizens 18 years and older are being encouraged to apply on Cafe's website. However, there are exceptions for some 17-year-olds with parental permission. Mrs. Baston, who was speaking on Smile Jamaica on Thursday, gave a rundown on what is expected of the volunteers on Election Day.
Is everybody being processed properly? Has anybody been turned away who ought not to have been turned away? Is there any disruption in the voting? That's your job. Is there anybody being intimidated? Is the law being...
The cafe chairman also revealed that volunteers are not paid. However, they do receive a stipend. This, she says, will help to promote civic duty and pride, while also learning about the voting process so they can become more encouraged to vote.
So we're clear, you're volunteering as a citizen. No. We do make a contribution to your expenses for that day. So if you've had to take the bus, if you've had to buy your own lunch, which you have to do because we don't provide that, or if you need to have data to send in your reports. So there's a $7,000 contribution towards those expenses.
She argues that there is a lot of misconceptions about the work and role of CAFE. According to the United Nations, observers help to identify weaknesses and build confidence in the electoral process. A report is provided after each election to the Electoral Office of Jamaica in an effort to strengthen the existing systems.
You are not there to countermand the presiding officer. Excuse me, miss, this is not there. Where is this? That's not your business at all. Okay. You make a note because at about 10 o'clock, you're going to step outside of the polling station and submit your first report to the Cafe Data Center, which allows us, the leadership, to speak by about 11 o'clock about the quality of the opening of the poll.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
As electors prepare to go to the polls, Executive Director and founder of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, Jeanette Calder, is calling for a radical shift in how Jamaicans view elections. She was a guest on TVJ's Smile Jamaica morning program. Antonia Atkinson has the details.
As the nation prepares to go to the polls, there are already concerns about voter apathy. For the last 2 election cycles, voter turnout has been low. For Executive Director and founder of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAMP, Jeanette Calder says electors must rethink their role in the democratic process. She emphasized the importance of not only casting a vote, but truly understanding the power and purpose behind it.
When we start as a crown land, not as government land and people are squat, but what on there, what go on my property? Never. When the JUTC bus is coming and somebody throw a stone, my God, look what them do for government bus. What on the bus, man? I'm in property that whole strain. You see the shift? Because if someone throw a stone at your car, you're not going to walk past and say, could they? Take out your phone and video. So it's the ownership shifting away from I'm just a citizen, which talks about where I belong, to talking about what belongs to me.
She argued that a nationwide mindset shift is needed, one where Jamaicans begin to see themselves as active stakeholders in shaping the country's future.
Voting has not changed that much. People tell you all the time, why not make no difference which side? My belief is the vote is important, but the voice is more important. And what does that mean? Engaging, participating, and beginning to act like the owner, and we don't stop there, the financier of everything government does, and we don't stop there, the employer. That is the role, and we need to stand in it and claim it, reclaim it.
As it relates to why 30% of Jamaicans participate in elections, Calder said,
I am not into this thing about the two of them are the same. No, policies are different. Politicians are changing. Leaders change. Jamaica is leader-centric. I, for one, look at leader, because wherever the leader go, everybody will go. So I do it for the principle, but I also believe in shaping policy. And if somebody's talking about the policies that matter to me, I'm going to engage in, and I'm going to vote.
As the countdown continues to the general elections, she's urging every Jamaican to take ownership of the process, not just on election day, but every day leading up to it. Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.
There is mounting pressure for Energy Minister Darrell Vaz to immediately begin negotiations with the Jamaica Public Service on the new license agreement. Mr. Vaz is being accused of electioneering the issue. Prince Moore reports.
Opposition spokesman on energy Philip Paulwell is criticizing Energy Minister Darrell Vaz of playing politics while Jamaicans suffer under high electricity bills.
The Minister of Energy is just realizing how unbearable the high price of electricity has been for the consumer and for those doing business in Jamaica. This situation has been going on for 9 years. The price of electricity in 2016 was about 23 cents US. Today, it is over 40 US cents per kilowatt hour. And it is the same JPS license that operated then when the price was that low that is still in effect today.
On July 1, Minister Vaz announced the government's intention to ensure that the current Jamaica Public Service All-Island license will not be renewed when it expires on July 8, 2027. The government says renewing the All-Island electricity license for the JPS under the current terms would place the country at a disadvantage. It blames the high cost of electricity for the economic struggles facing businesses and consumers. But the opposition spokesman insists that if the minister believes the JPS license is the reason for the high price, then he should negotiate the JPS license now and not wait for 2 more years.
Minister, why not deal with the high price of electricity now? Why are you electioneering on this matter, which is so crucial to the future of our development?
Prince Moore, TVJ News.
To other news, some of the island's nurse practitioners are raising alarm about what they describe as persistent neglect and a lack of respect for their role in the healthcare system. Heather McGrath, president of the Jamaica Association of Nurse Practitioners, says the group is deeply concerned that its members continue to feel sidelined and undervalued despite being at the front line of patient care.
Very happy at all, because we feel like we are trained, but then you feel like there is so much restriction on your part. I can say though, we are working in the Western region, it's not as hard, but for some NPs who are employed in other regions, you feel somewhat less than, that you were trained to do. You feel that you're not giving enough for the patients, the clients, so it kind of somewhat affects your morale.
She explains that the situation has become so disheartening for some that they've opted to migrate in search of better working conditions and greater professional recognition overseas.
Even, migrate, and when you go abroad, you're not able to be a nurse practitioner. So, but regardless of the fact, because of how they feel, because the lack of the prescriptive autonomy and those kind of things, they leave. But I will also use this plug though to thank the Minister of Health, because I know that he has somewhat, come and stream and ensure that he's doing something. And I hope in due season, short season, that the advanced practice legislation will come into effect.
Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris Dixon is urging high school administrators to pay close attention to the recommended changes by the ministry in an effort to aggressively address the challenge of literacy and numeracy of students transitioning to high school. She made the call during Wednesday's quarterly press conference of the Education Oversight Committee, ETOC.
Who are leaving primary school who may not be at the level of literacy that they need to be in order to learn in a high school setting. And so the change is being made to add more flexibility, to reduce the number of subjects are extremely important. It makes no sense to have a child go into high school, not able to read, and you give them all these subjects that they have to do when they're sitting there unable to read. Flexibility is yours. And so if you feel there is a way to do it, talk to us at the ministry and we will work with you to make it happen. There's no one size fits all for every school. But we're also saying to our schools, if you need to cut the curriculum, you don't need to do all those subjects.
Two of the victims in Wednesday's fatal two-vehicle collision along the Queens Highway in Discovery Bay, St. Anne, have been identified. Acting Senior Superintendent of Police Rowan Elliott confirmed that 45-year-old Clint Carty, a taxi operator of Old Folly District, Discovery Bay, was the driver of the Honda Stepwagon motor car, which plies the Falmouth to Discovery Bay route. A woman known only as Georgia Johnson, whom no additional information was provided, and another unidentified female were also killed in the crash. Two toddlers believed to be between 2 and 3 years old, who were passengers in the ill-fated vehicle, have been transferred to a medical facility in Kingston in serious condition. 5 other injured passengers remain at the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital. Police investigations into the cause of the crash are ongoing. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang is assuring the public that the long-delayed construction work on the Lindstead police station will resume shortly. His pledge comes just over a week after TVJ News highlighted the poor conditions workers have been working in. More in this report.
National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang explained that work on the Lindstead police station had to be halted after an audit report flagged the need for changes to the original scope of the project. That hurdle, he says, has now been cleared.
We have gotten the required variation and the minister signed off on that and it will restart very soon.
As it relates to the poor working conditions officers have had to endure at the temporary location, Dr. Chang says relocation may be on the cards.
We may have to relocate as we did in Bull Bay, but I think the police officer will make the recommendation and the ministry will support it.
Meanwhile, the ministry continues its island-wide overhaul of police infrastructure. According to Dr. Chang, the stations are being classified and treated based on the severity of disrepair, adding that the rebuild program is almost complete.
We had an engineer, I remember his name, from a consulting firm in Rampy. He went across the island because all the police facilities, and he graded them 1, 2, and 3. I said 1, a minor repair, not a request of MP or otherwise or public. 2 was for major rehabilitation, and 3 was demolished. And we are demolishing all those degraded at grade 3. The only one left to be done, I think, is Amity Hall in St. James. That's the only one left to be demolished. And we have in fact put a temporary station there, what we call based on that container. That will be used while we do the planning and development.
Sandra Williams, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
The Bank of Jamaica is reporting a decline in remittance inflows as a share of the country's key economic indicators in 2023. According to new data, remittances fell from 20.2% of gross domestic product in 2022 to 16.9% last year. As a share of tourism expenditure, remittances decreased from 95% to 77.8% over the same period. The BOJ also noted a slight dip in the value of remittances relative to export earnings, falling from 180.9% in 2022 to 179.8% last year. Further afield, Uber is launching a new Women Preferences feature in the United States. It will allow women riders to see a women driver's option when they request a ride on demand or in advance. Riders can also set a preference option, and women drivers will have the option to request trips with women riders, including during peak earning hours. The company says testing in overseas markets generated overwhelmingly positive feedback. The pilot feature is starting in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Detroit in the next few weeks. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Hal Shane Burke.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
The Guyanese government has announced plans to implement a new digital panic button system to help counter domestic violence. According to the Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Dr. Vindhya Prasad, any endangered person will be located immediately and rescued. As for how it works, she says it transmits a signal to a tower being constructed. The alert signals where the person is. Prasad believes this new system will greatly assist anyone in a domestic violence situation.
Okay, we now head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.